Yvonne, people set out to buy their first home and they're scrimping and scratching all that money together for the down payment. And then they get in there and something breaks, something happens. A lot of Americans have a ton of debt. And if we can offer things like sharing these resources, it's just a simple solution.
And I was a first-time home buyer at one point, and I have things that was in my shed that I used one time, not because I felt like I needed it, but I didn't use it that often. So then it ended up being just money out, that I really didn't have.
Literally sitting in your shed, money sitting in your shed.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm Evonne Brank with the Brank Home Team here at John L. Scott, and today I am graciously here with my good friend Amanda. I think we met at a Federal Way, I want to say chamber meeting.
Maybe 6 years ago, maybe that long. I know.
I didn't realize it was that long.
I know. Yeah. I'll introduce myself. Sorry. I'm Amanda Miller. I'm executive director of the South King Tool Libraries. Avid musician, lover, and appreciator. And what do you want to know? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I do want to talk about the Seattle South King County Tool Library, because when I first met you, I had heard about it previously. Mm-hmm. I heard about it in the starting stages when they were just getting funding. Mm-hmm. to
open and we started out actually doing repair events in partnership, and so I totally give credit to my good friend Jeanette Jurgensen. She probably remembered too, and she worked at the City of Federal Way because she spearheaded this idea of let's do a community centered tool library. So the city kind of started it, but then it really fell to the board of directors that formed around it, which was just community members that were like, yeah, this is a good idea too. Everything from former Federal Way police officers to librarian, library science teachers. There were several. But yeah, it was a passion project. We didn't invent that concept of tool libraries either. Some people are like, this is such a good idea. And I fully give credit to other folk. Yeah, I can go into excruciating detail. I can write a book maybe on the history of tool libraries. And then this year, 2024, we just started the first ever National Tool Library Alliance. Yeah, it's pretty exciting because that is also in its infancy, working under a fiscal sponsor with shareable.net. But yeah, it's been wonderful to work with folks from Chicago and Baltimore, Portland, Denver, Asheville, North Carolina, New York.
Well, yeah. See, I thought we were the only tool library.
Oh, yeah.
No, there was others. And then people were like, well, isn't there one in Seattle? And I'm going, no.
Not a cool one. No, I'm just kidding. They're great too. There's actually almost a dozen in the region. So
really?
I've been trying to just form some kind of cohesion. And that's how the National Tool Library Alliance really jettisoned too, was the idea we need to collaborate and share resources and not reinvent the wheel every time we do things. So yes. One thing that I point out generally is most of the tool library region are in more affluent neighborhoods or very, community centered, very built out neighborhoods. Federal Way, South King County in general is a much more spread physical region, but also socioeconomically, culturally, we knew it had to be different than the other tool library models as well. And I was a big advocate for making things as free as possible. Evonne, people set out to buy their first home and they're scrimping and scratching all that money together for the down payment. And then they get in there and something breaks, something happens. As a homeowner, I went through this too. I got what I could for my family. I did a whole lot of moving of things around, and our dryer, I think, was the first thing that went out. But I saw this as a way for folks that are, physically able to make those improvements without going into massive debt, without going in. And you also get a Home Depot card. I feel like their standard issue when you buy a house, they're just here's a credit card with the
yes.
ultimate limit. And yeah, that's where you get into trouble. Or, a lot of Americans have a ton of debt. And if we can offer things like sharing these resources, it's just a simple solution. So,
but that's one of the things that I loved about your organization is when I started to learn more about South King Tool Library. And I learned that, for a homeowner that, like you said, they buy their first house, it takes everything for them to move into that house, from the moving truck to possibly getting blinds or curtains, or it's just the simple things that start to add up. And now, like you said, they have a yard they have to maintain. So they need a lawnmower, they need clippers, they need trimmers. And I was a first-time home buyer at one point, and I have things that was in my shed that I used one time, not because I felt like I needed it, but I didn't use it that often. So then it ended up being just money out, that I really didn't have.
Literally sitting in your shed, money sitting in your shed.
Yes. Whereas
that you could use for other things.
Yes, but if I had something like South King Tool Library, where I could just go and say, can I borrow the lawnmower? Can I borrow the clippers? I mean, because truly it's like a library. You check it out, you use it, and then you return it.
Boom, you got it.
I mean, it's really as simple as that. And that is why it was like, when I met you, I was like, I got to tell everybody about this. I'm getting postcards from you to give to my new students in my homebuyer classes. And matter of fact, I need more of those.
Got you.
But you guys don't just check out things. You also do other things for the community.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what are some of the other things you guys do for the community? I mean, I can name them, but I prefer you.
No, well, we offer workshops and classes, and I did a pressure washing class a few weeks ago. That was really exciting because it's something you don't think about, and it's quite an expense. And again, you don't maintain those tools. Sometimes they degrade that's money really sitting in your shed that is you're losing out on.
Wait, Amanda. Yeah. So you did a class on pressure washing.
Yeah.
So are you saying that someone can check out a pressure washer?
Oh yeah, we have all the different models of pressure washers. We have 3,000 PSI. That was always, we don't do any gas powered tools. So that's maybe a limitation, but we've really found success in the electric powered tools. So we have 3,000 PSI pressure washers that would easily get the moss off your driveway, your walkways, help get your deck ready for painting, staining. Yeah, and the beauty of that is that it's not something that you have to maintain. Right. But a pressure washer is a great example. A lawnmower, you might eventually, you want to try it before you buy it maybe, or you don't want to land in that. But pressure washers are so like the perfect example for new homeowners, like what to utilize. And like the classes and workshops, I probably went into too much depth about how they work, but there were a lot of people that were like, oh, I didn't realize this. And if you go out and you buy like the wrong tool for you, so if an 80-pound grandma went into Home Depot and wanted to buy like your super duper pressure washer, and she goes and she fires it up and then messes something up or hurts herself, heaven forbid, we don't have to do that. We can talk to you. We're your neighbors too. We get a lot of volunteers. The workshops and classes, we do a home maintenance basics Zoom class. So we've done those probably 4 or 5 times. And then we did them during the pandemic as well. What are the maintenance things that you need to do this time of year? Cleaning your gutters and downspouts, or draining your hot water heater. But those are just great tools in addition to what we do. But then we'll do things like clothing swap and repair cafes. We've done game swap, goals to do like a crafting swap, like craft supplies. Centering our concept of waste reduction, but also knowing that you're a whole human, right? Like you, as your folks are moving into their homes too, like I'm pretty sure they wear clothes and sometimes they might break or, get tears, or they, had to downsize and they need new fashion things. So our free community clothing swaps are a great way for people to both donate hyperlocally and then come and shop for free. So it's, and then we lend out the clothing racks. So Evonne, when you want to do your clothing swap, you just tell me and you can borrow, a few clothing racks and we'll get you set up.
I did that. I didn't do a clothing swap, but I did a garage sale.
Nice.
And got the clothes racks.
The clothing racks,
or the garage sale, because I didn't like, putting, tarps on the ground and putting the clothes down there. Instead, I was able to hang it. I also got a chance to use it. I had a client who graciously donated her treadmill to me and an elliptical. And so,
Awesome.
but it took a moving truck to do that. And you guys gave me the dolly, and I was able to check that out.
That's incredible.
With the move and everything. So, I love that I was able to come to you guys. And you guys have a website where I was able to go on the website and pick what I wanted and what day I could come and pick it up. And then, I know the hours where I need to return it. So I thought that was pretty cool that I was able to do that. So I do take advantage. I'm a homeowner too, so I do take advantage of it. And, again, because of that, I just was thinking, what a great thing for any homeowner, and especially for our newbies who are moving into their first home. It's like, don't go and spend all this money. Check out what you have in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I know that you guys have one in Federal Way, a location in Federal Way.
Yep.
And also a location in the Auburn Mall.
In the mall, yeah.
In the mall. That one took me because I know when I came to your grand opening, I was driving around in circles looking for you on the outside, because I know they had a section where you could drop off like your paint and everything.
Yeah.
On the outside. So I'm just like going in a circle. And then I was like, okay, go inside and see, if you could find them. So it did throw me off a little bit because I was surprised that you guys were inside versus having an exit on the outside. So
no, yeah, I'm for sure happy because it's warm.
Yes.
So that's nice. Yeah, what you were talking about is the hazardous waste collection site there in Auburn, and that's a great resource that we direct people to all the time, because as they're moving, downsizing, changing, or just like living life, right? Where do I take things? So we take things, like tools, of course, but also like consumables. So that's another great asset that I would highlight to folks, is like, before you go out and you buy like a box of nails and screws and fasteners, when you have a project in mind, come and just take a look at what we have. We have like, face plates for outlets and, hinges for doors and stuff like that. So we just try to, we ask people to donate if you can for those things, but we really just want to get those circulated back again in a useful way. And yeah, the other thing I wanted to highlight too is our repair events, because they're really great for folks to have something. Sewing is a good example. I don't have time usually to do my kids' mending and stuff, so I'll save it, and we do repair events like 4 times a year. So we have everything from like things that break, lamps, furniture, clothing, kids' toys. We've done computers. It's really, a gamut of things. I call our fixers our, veterinarians of fixing. They're kind of amazing for being able to address this whole breadth of items. And then it's free as well. So people can come. Another element that I bring is like, the equity piece there. So if you're visual acuity, or you just don't have the tools, right? We can help you obviously with the tools, but if you're nervous about opening an electrical device, then we want to give you that confidence as well. And sort of our other secret like mission and goal is really that empowerment piece. And
well, I started doing that. I started saving some things because I did know you guys did mending.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of saving a few things. Like I like it still. I don't want to get rid of it.
Right.
But
well, and even if you wanted to donate it, I mean, it's so much nicer, like have it not a hole in it, or, all the buttons there so they don't get separated again.
And, I talk to people right now about, we're talking about inflation a lot, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I remember, I'm not going to give my age away, but I remember where, at home, we would sit and mend our socks or mend our pants or re-hem because the hem came out, watch TV. Those are things we did during inflation, right? And when money was tight. And today, people don't know how to do that. Yeah. They don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And yet this is a way to kind of bring that back, where maybe it's not you personally doing it, but you're taking it someplace and having it done. And not only that, another part about South King Tool is you guys are trying to protect the footprint of what is going out there.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
The skill sharing, the volunteers that are between, or like our regular volunteers and our repair event volunteers, I always want to like educate and help people. So like if they didn't know how to run a sewing machine or how to make the measurements to do a hem, they are really patient and sit down and how to safely operate everything. But I mean, it all folds into this idea that there's not a magic solution for the end of life or our object. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about impacting generations to come. And I think a lot of folk feel like it's not in our neighborhood. It's not us. It's just gonna go away. But if you don't know where it's going,
Yes.
then I have the opinion that it might come back to bite you, right? Like if you don't know that it's going to the Cedar Hills landfill or that it's gonna be dumped in the ocean, and then we get surprised by things like microplastics or the amount of chemicals that our food has. Simple solutions like questioning our consumption and our throwaway culture like seem like, oh, we should be able to address that, but they are truly complex issues. But again, a simple solution of utilizing tool libraries, making things, borrow them instead of buying them, making them last longer, recycling them in a healthy, effective way. Because we also do recycling events. I totally forgot about that too. Making sure they get to the right place. There's something called wish cycling now, which curbside bins are extremely convenient, but people don't realize that you can't just put anything in there and then it goes to the magic right place. A little bit of what we do is kind of educating the public on how that works. And we calculate things like tonnage and embodied carbon. And unfortunately, the US is woefully behind in making some true calculations on those environmental impacts. And we're making our way. Like we're working with the Department of Ecology to bring in a calculator to the state to help us that. And we've saved the community millions of dollars. And that's money that's going into their down payments for their homes, to the fast food restaurants and slow food restaurants, to grocery bills, regular bills, energy bills. When you can relate it to that, it makes a lot of sense. Imagine how much you're actually throwing away when you do empty your garbage can. It's money. You've invested in the packaging, those things, but in a rental basis. So yeah, you have to make sure that it's going to be a good investment too.
I hadn't thought of it like that. So this is definitely opening my eyes to, everything you buy and throw away has a cost.
You're paying for it on the front end, right? Like because they are charging you for the packaging, and you're paying for it on the back end when you have to throw it into the garbage where you pay for them to haul away. And then you're paying for it in a third way with the unintended consequences of like how, if it's not handled properly, it could be impacting you or your future generations.
Yeah, you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
So, and that's different. It's not getting deep in the weeds. You're just passionate, and that's okay. People need to see that passion to really understand, that the South King Tool Library isn't just about loaning out tools. It's also looking at the environment and how we can protect it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
I think this is all going to be great information for people when they get a chance to see it. If people want to come out and visit the library, because I've had the privilege of coming out, and that's where I did learn that you guys took screws and light bulbs and, the other tools, the screwdrivers, and I was shocked and amazed, And I came home because I've been a homeowner for close to 30 years now, and we have duplicates of tools, duplicates of, it's like when I can't find a screwdriver, what do? I go buy another screwdriver, and then I find the old screwdriver. Before you know it, I got 3 screwdrivers.
That's the spice rack dilemma. So like when you have a spice rack and you put something in front of it and then you forget that you have it, so then you have 3 dills.
But I went through my garage just to go through my tools so I could have just one set for myself and everything. I know I had like 3 hammers. I don't need all this. It's just, me and my husband, we don't need all this stuff. And he's not a fixer-upper kind of guy, right? So as long as we had one of everything in good shape, we even created our cork board so we could see where everything was.
What? Whoa, I am impressed. I don't even have that level.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll put kits together for people, or people can come and shop the consumable section. We have screwdrivers and hammers and paint roller frames, in that. And, there's your toolkit for being a homeowner. You need a little variety of, those sizes and stuff. You don't need one in every room. But to come to the tool library, we're open in Federal Way, Mondays and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then on Wednesdays right now in the winter from 2 to 4 p.m. And then in Auburn, we're open on Thursdays and Saturdays from 4 to 7 p.m. because we're a small crew. And so we run both locations. The addresses would probably be easiest if I just said, go to the website, South King Tools,
Yes, and we can also put it on our website, the addresses for both locations. So we'll do that for you.
Yeah, and then like you said earlier too, you can make reservations online, shop our inventory, send us an email, give us a call if you have questions, if that's more your speed. And then we have a calendar of events. We'll keep adding to those as we schedule them and as we get things confirmed. So we try to make it as simple as possible. Call in, ask questions, get them answered. Yeah, and you can email if people want to email with questions too. We try to find resources for them and be able to answer those or connect them with somebody that can answer them too. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to volunteer with you guys, how would they go about doing that?
So we've started doing volunteer orientations. We have some forms and a lot of like the upfront information that might be inundating for people to like, oh, I want to come volunteer, and then here's a stack of paperwork. So if they email us info@southkingtools.org or go onto our website, there's like a volunteer tab. They can follow the links to the documents there. We have online signups as well. So there's a link that says, sign up for a position, a shift. And then, the orientations are nice. We're not doing them regularly yet because the seasonal changes and planning our event. I mean, we have students from high schools and we have folks from colleges as well. And then we have, lots of retirees. But even if you just want to be active in your community, I mean, like engaging with people and finding, the like-mindedness or the the thread that you might find a passion in. It's how I changed my whole life. So there's that. I was like, I'll volunteer and help start this tool library. This sounds like fun.
And now look at you.
Yeah. Now look at me.
Now look at you. Now, I know you guys do have like a YouTube channel.
Oh,
what are some things people can find on that channel?
Yeah, there are a lot of things. I think we recorded sessions that were everything from sewing basics to restringing a guitar to food preservation. We have like series and lots of tools that help with that. So like dehydrating, pickling, canning, to gardening.
I know you guys did one on rain barrels.
Yeah, we'll do like rain barrels, rain gardens. We'll do container gardens. We're doing a seed swap at the end of this month too. If you're starting your little backyard food forest and you want to come get some seeds, we have a little seed library in our rain garden. Also, some of those home repair lessons and little snippets too are up there. When you go onto our website, if you're curious about a tool and how to use it or when you would use it, you can look up in the description of the item to see the other links that we have. So
who can use South King
Library?
We
do require adults to sign because there are waivers. So that would be maybe a caveat to like the 17-year-old that wants to start their own business. But if your parent is gonna sign you up or you have someone that
minimum age is
18, minimum age 18. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody can use the South King Tool Library. Minimum age is 18. Correct. So we got that. And I have something on here about our memberships just for households. And I don't think we mentioned what are memberships. And, if it's free and you're checking it out like a library, is there a cost to being a member? Maybe we should talk about that real quick.
Sure, yeah. Membership is simply signing up to get into our database because we want to have communication techniques with folks and we want to let them know reminders for, overdue items or when things are due back or when we're open or if things change, like we have to close for weather or whatever the case is. Membership is free. We put you into our database. That's kind of what it is. You can donate by signing up for memberships, and we do have suggestions there. So like if you're doing one project or you're not really like sure you'll be able to use the tool library much, then the basic membership is the free model, is the free version, and the single project would be the next step up. And simply, that just helps us keep our doors open, like when you can donate to us.
Because you are a nonprofit.
Nonprofit, 501c3 charitable organization, all the bells and whistles. But we, we thrive on people valuing what they're getting too. So if you borrowed a pressure washer and never got a chance to use it because it was raining or you couldn't figure out how to do it, there's no charge, right? If you did that from Home Depot, you would still have to pay. And, if you borrow it, and I don't know if anyone else collects hobbies, but like you were going to start sewing and you got all of the ambition and then you were like, I have no time to do this. You can bring it back instead of having it collect dust for several years in your basement. What we try to suggest is folks will if you can donate the value that you find in it. So we have $500 compound miter saws. Not that I want someone to come and rip them off from me, but because I want to show, that's a valuable tool. We don't just have grandpa's, wrenches and old-fashioned drills.
How can you afford to do this?
We balance grants, and then we ask for donations, and we ask for sponsorships and partners. And it's the nature of nonprofits too. We have a little bit of a hustle we have to make to get those ends to meet sometimes. So we have a few staff, but a lot of volunteers, and volunteers make it the world go round. People aren't local to the area, I'd also just search up where the nearest tool library is. We've also contributed and helped to start like a tool library a kit for people that want to start their own tool libraries. So or library of things, depending on what it is.
Yes.
But yeah, so we're working on updating our website. We could use volunteers to help with that too.
Put the ask
how
out there.
Goes. I know, like if you don't ask, you don't get it, but
If you don't ask, you don't get it. This is so true. But I am an advocate. I do tell everybody I know, like I said, this definitely is in my ball of wax because I am always looking to help homeowners on, saving money, and having a great first year start, right? Because if you can have a really good first year start, it'll just make it easier for the second year, third year, fourth year. And where do you go to get information in regards to your home? And with South King Tool Library, it's not just about tools. Like you said, you guys have the clothing swap. I've been to that. You guys have the repairs. And I look around my house, like, do I have a broken clock? Do I have something, Or if even if it's not broken, sometimes I think of, what do I have that I don't remember how to use that someone can share with me how to use it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And sharpening, don't forget that too. I bet you have stuff that needs to be sharpened.
Oh, when are you guys gonna have that? No, because I do.
Yeah. In the repair events, we have a sharpener just for those. So we'll do up to 3 items. But bring them in.
So you guys have the recycling event, and I've come to those. So it's a very well-rounded organization that just has so many opportunities. I've come to the gardening events. I tell you, I'm involved.
Yeah, you are awesome. I'm a big fan. And we just try to be a resource for the community. And I appreciate all of your support. You're amazing. And
well, Miss Amanda, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't too much. But, people need to know about you guys. I like I said, I'm a fan. I'm a true fan. And I just want people to know about you guys and what you have to offer. You offer so much more than just lending tools. And people just don't know about you.
Thank you for this chance.
You're welcome. And so we're going to put all of your information in the link.
In the link below.
Well, Miss Amanda, thank you so much for taking time out with me today and sharing everything South King Tool Library that you can. And I believe your website is southkingtools.org.
Correct, yes. TOOLS.org. I know it's tricky.
Yes. So if anybody want to check you out, that would be a great place to get started. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Evonne. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.